Well, I tell you one thing. For 200 million, he better be going to every single school and cooking everybody's meals for that much money if he's going to help out the community there. But absolutely right. The key thing is what involves this lucrative contract and the future for Cristiano Ronaldo in, of course, the Middle East. Let's move on, because Ronaldo's former employer, Janusz Michallik's Manchester United, are flying. They have been doing fantastic since the return of action after the World Cup. They've won every match, including the League Cup. They haven't conceded a goal. I believe it's 6 multiple goal scorers as well, and they are pushing for the Champions League spot. What do you like of Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, Janusz Michallik? How are they looking?
Well, I think Mark and I have talked about it in the last show. I mean, I like everything about it. They finally have a leader of the pitch that's taking care of the entire club. Almost seems overnight with the decisions with Cristiano Ronaldo and even Marcus Rashford, who's obviously continues to pay back, and he did it once again. So I mean, it's a tremendous role that they're on right now. I think you're going to see the benefits of that going forward. We saw a game that I felt, I think, just as everybody else, that it was going to be no problem. And it's not just him, but the leadership on the pitch as well. And we've seen it from Luke Shaw. How good was he? Played center back in the last 2 games, went to left back, scored a goal, had a wonderful assist on the third one, which was just absolutely outstanding. The Marcus Rashford goal I'm talking about. And of course, they have a general in the center of the pitch that's maybe just as big of a reason as Ten Hag, and that's Casemiro, because what he's doing is exactly what a club like Manchester United needed. I don't really want to compare him to Roy Keane's of the world, but I think it's important to say that a figure like that was absolutely missing for Manchester United. So they have a general on the bench, and they have a general on the pitch in the center of the midfield, and things are looking good, and I don't think they're going to change. I'm not saying that Manchester United are going to win every game from now on, but I think what's happening right now is they're laying a foundation for Manchester United once again to challenge for the Premier League title.
Augie. For so long, some of us have been saying, it's about diversifying and, embellishing what Erik ten Hag brings. And when you remove a big headache, I'm not even going to say the name because it's already been happening, suddenly things are clicking. Manchester United, to Janusz's point, are really delivering from all angles, from all, leadership is multidimensional with this club. What's the realistic expectation for you now with Manchester United as they are right now in the Champions League spot?
Well, the next 2 league games, Man City at home, Arsenal away. That is massive. That will, for me, that will define what happens between now and the end of the season. Because if they win those 2 games, then United have got a chance of winning the title. And I never thought I'd be saying that at all this season, because certainly after the first 2 games when they were in the relegation zone. So Erik ten Hag has come in and he's made so many changes to the team, to the tactics, to the mentality. And I think we talked about, Casemiro. It's Christian Eriksen. It's Casemiro. It's Raphael Varane. It's these players that now are leaders in the dressing room. And I think not only leaders, but the people, they don't have to lead by shouting and being broken. They lead by example. And I think it's showing now. There's a trust that Lisandro Martinez, another player, that people look at these players and they just know there's an assurance about them and a confidence, and it's seeping through the team. Now, the United games coming up, I just mentioned City and Arsenal, they're huge games because people say, well, look at United's results over Christmas. They've beaten teams they should beat. That's true. But last season, they weren't beating those teams. You couldn't trust Man United to beat any team. Now you trust them to take these games on and win. So, and that is a step that you don't now think that United are going to drop points. But whether you trust them to beat the teams like City and Arsenal is a different matter, especially Arsenal away. Now, they are the only team to beat Arsenal this season, let's not forget. So, can United win the league? Probably not this season, but I think they're going to finish 3rd. And I think that the battle for 4th is probably between Newcastle and Liverpool. But the fact that Ten Hag has got United in contention for the top 4 after the disastrous start they made is a testament to his qualities as a coach, and also shows you how much time they wasted with Ralph Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 3 years maybe, just totally wasted, drifting along because the club had become too nice, too soft. As Luke Shaw said at the weekend, Ten Hag has come in and he stopped players getting away with things he shouldn't be getting away with. The culture at the club had gone absolutely way too far. Players were taking time off. They were going to physios all over the world. Ten Hag has come in, he stops all that. He's the boss. They do what he says. Step out of line, and you're in trouble. And it's just made a massive difference.
Janusz, agree. Final point on United. How high do you see them ending?
Well, I mean, as Mark had said, I mean, if the results go, I mean, there's a weakness about just about everybody a little bit. And, maybe, we're going to talk about Arsenal and Newcastle. I don't necessarily think they've shown that weakness just yet, but it's not impossible. As we've been talking, for Arsenal, look at their schedule. This is a defining moment. A whole month. I don't know who put that schedule together and how they knew it. But I think if you look at everybody's next 3 or 4 games, for the most part, they're incredible. I think that's where when the title, I don't know if it's going to be decided, but I think we're going to get a clearer picture, because already if you look at the top 4, I think they're kind of sort of pulling away. It's not enough for us to say that this is the top 4, because I agree. I mean, I'd have to imagine that Liverpool is going to make a little bit of a run, but there are 5 points difference there. Spurs are starting to fall apart just a little bit, and that changes the psychology of it all. Psychology is super important, and that's what you're dealing with Manchester United, because yes, I mean, that there's no coincidence that teams that have unbelievable leaders win titles, and Jurgen Klopp's been doing a great job at Liverpool. You see Arteta, which is no surprise. You see Pep Guardiola, and that's the only thing that Manchester United were missing, because they had ingredients to do that. And maybe I think that Casemiro may have been a final piece too as well, but certainly first and foremost it's Ten Hag.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.